see the gate right here? That will be the entrance to the path going down to directly underneath the bridge, which will be the access for the elevator. So what we're going to do is actually put a wall across here that is decorative and also improves the view so that the Central Hudson transfer station that's right here doesn't look quite so industrial. It'll be a wall with brick walls, some light things on top of it, a set of gates going to the elevator, another set of gates further down where Central Hudson will be able to access with their trucks and things. This is where the electric power line comes across underneath the river, and then it comes to the surface and up to their power station up on the hill. So it's a high voltage line. It has to be protected. Central Hudson's very sensitive about it. So are we. And we've come up with a plan with them to be able to put some shielding and also fencing to protect their property. Right here in front will be a plaza area. There's a sketch that is part of the plan, but basically the driveway comes down to this plaza. And around the edge of the plaza will be benches and places to sit, basically a gathering area for groups before they go up the elevator, or an area where people just want to sit and enjoy the view. Our intent is to keep all of the major trees that are here, get rid of all the scrub and all the brush so that there's much better access to the edge of the river and to the edge of the stream, both of which are really nice, pleasant places. So think of this as a nice, pleasant park area. A lot of this pavement, public park area, a lot of this pavement gets replaced with grass, except for the patio area here, which is really there so that the Central Hudson trucks have room to turn around when they come down to work on the power station. And I think...
And we're also hopeful that when Central Hudson does the remediation plan, that they will look at burying this and relocating it to another location.
But that's, again, not part of this project, but it's sort of, again, long-term ideas about how the riverfront may be improved.
The proposed site for the elevator itself would be to the length that that brick supports, cement?
Probably about 15 feet off that brick
So the
support.
shaft would be right to the left of that concrete abutment.
Right.
Yeah,
You see the bump out up at the top?
Yes.
Right in the center of the bump out is
Okay.
where the elevator shaft is.
I got you.
Oh, but I'm on an assignment right now. I'll have to call you back later.
And if you want, I think there are drawings
Yes.
of that would be available for the walkway.
Is there going to be a fee for use of this elevator?
You're going to be what?
A fee?
Part of a New York State park.
No.
No.
Okay, because there are some parking fees up there on.
There's parking fees occasionally, but entrance to the park
Park is free.
is supposed to be free everywhere, except
Except
even
Jones Beach, I think.
no, even there it's a parking fee.
There's a couple places that do.
Is this the only?
Do they charge? I thought they were all.
Is this the only state park that you enter with an elevator?
No, Niagara
Well,
Falls.
Niagara Falls has elevators.
Yeah. We think it's going to be a big attraction, quite frankly.
Last year they mentioned a visitor center to go with it. Is that still on the table?
There's certainly talk about it, but it's kind of like one project at a time. I know they're talking about the possibility of a visitor center possibly on Parker Avenue. There have been some new kiosks built during these last few months on both sides of the bridge. Again, I think that there will be a visitor center. I just don't know when, and I'm not entirely sure where.
Are there any facilities going to be here, like toilets or water fountains?
We are hoping that at the time in which we do phase 2 of those two buildings, that at least one of those two buildings might be able to accommodate services or amenities for visitors to the walkway.
So phase 1 is the park and the elevator?
Phase 1 is the elevator is a project of New York State Parks, not of the Dyson Foundation. And it's really a separate project on a separate piece of property. The Dyson Foundation's piece of this is essentially this waterfront, streamfront,
From that
riverfront
chain link
park.
fence this way.
Yeah.
And I guess you'd say it's phase 1 is the public park
Yeah.
and the stabilization of the main building.
And then phase 2 will be coming up with an adaptive reuse for those two buildings.
All this pavement still be here?
No.
No.
What'll this be?
Most of the, well,
If you have a copy of
Plaza
the,
material.
see this here?
Yeah.
You can see, this is not the greatest picture for seeing it, but you can see you come down a driveway, and then there's like a half circle, which will be right out in there.
It'll
So
be like-
everything from here over will be replaced by grass and probably some more trees.
and what will be here in terms of the paved area, it will be like that stamped, textured type concrete to make it, look like
Asphalt.
asphalt. It'll look like bricks or something like that. It'll, yeah.
It looks like bricks, but this area actually flooded during the hurricane. The water actually went up almost to the edge of the Reynolds house. So we're being very careful to use materials that even if the water comes up and covers it, when it goes away, it'll still be there. So we're staying away from gravel paths and things like that, which would disappear in any kind of flooding.
That'd
And
be the
as much
same-
as they're attractive.
That'd be the same texture for the path, the footpath coming along?
Probably not. We haven't decided on the exact texture and
But they will
color,
both be
but
ADA compliant.
it's an ADA compliant path, and it actually goes all the way along the creek, right
Along
down
the
to the
edges.
junction with the river, which is a very attractive place because it's and then it'll go across along the front of the new wall that's going to be created right to the gates here. And of
And-
course, most people will just come right down the driveway and go to the gates, or come off the bridge directly to the gates.
So you can see a little bit of detail here on the wall. They're proposing is a wall to kind of screen this area and the bricks.
I can send. Let me just show this for a minute. It's hard to see outside. One of the downsides of the iPad, but you can see that this is a different image of this, and this shows a little bit. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Are those renderings available online right now?
No, but I could email them. So if you could,
I
you just let
intend
Steve
to
know.
send that to all of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. Steve will take care of that.
Yeah.
All right.
What's the history of this landing here? What was it?
Oh,
Did it have maritime
fantastic.
use?
Yes. There were buildings
Mhm.
all along this area, all along the creek. There were wharfs along the edges. Most of this concrete here is actually the base, the base of the buildings. That was, the buildings disappeared and they never took out the concrete. So this was all. As a matter of fact, if you look up this way, that was a street. There was North Water Street, and there was another one down here that went along the edge of the river. And that's been abandoned for years and years. So.
I'm going to ask Steve to send this photograph too. This is an old postcard that actually shows exactly where we're standing. You can see the bridge in the back, but all this whole industrial area, I know it's really hard to see on the iPad, but this whole industrial area was factories and workshops, a general store, shipbuilding. This was really the hub of Poughkeepsie.
And what we're going to try and do is capture that history in terms of panels that will affix to both the walls and freestanding other places on the site to describe the history of the site, because it is one of the most important aspects of the city of Poughkeepsie. The reason why it grew here is because of this intersection with the creek and the waterfalls up above giving power to mills and everything else.
Is there going to be river access planned for boats or anything to come up here?
Probably not, because we're very close to where this power line comes across the river. If you go down there, you can actually see an artificial bulkhead all around that property, and Central Hudson would certainly prefer people to stay away from this area. Matter of fact, that white sign you see the back of, it's meant for people on the river, and it says keep out, stay away. They're very concerned about people anchoring, possibly touching the cable under the riverbed. So it's a very sensitive area, and I don't think we're planning on any river access for this property.
Didn't there used to be power lines going up across the bridge as well?
Power lines across the bridge are all gone. We took them off during the construction of the walkway. They were rather ugly and abandoned many years ago.
So this line down here now is what used to be up on the bridge?
It used to be up on the bridge. Yep.
Well, it was replaced.
Well, it's a new one. It's not the
So
same
it's the-
line, but the function was replaced what was on the bridge.
Was that
There's a
around
long
what?
history connected
That
with
was around 95 or so, or?
Well, the lines were actually taken off when we built the walkway. They
Okay.
they left them up there. So I think they were abandoned probably in the early 90s, as I recall.
And this would be the only deep water port between New York City and Albany, right here at the spot, if you wanted one?
I don't know that. Between here and Albany? No, I'm sure there were ports around Kingston, and, you know, where the Rondout Creek comes in.
Deep water, though.
I don't know. I just don't know enough about the history to say this is a deep
This
water
is really deep right here?
I don't know. It's not very deep right outside the creek, because all the sediment comes down the creek, and there's a big sandbar out in the river, probably about 20 feet out. Matter of fact, during the hurricane, if you were up on the bridge looking down, you could actually see that sandbar
coming down. Oh, okay.
building up in the bridge, and at low tide it actually came out of the water. Now, in the months afterwards, it slowly dissipated and spread out, so it doesn't come up above the surface of the water anymore. But if you're in a boat, you want to be careful driving through there, because you're going to hit it.
Does this site flood regularly, or just during like extreme events?
I think just during extreme events, you know. But predictions are there's going to be more and more extreme events as the river rises due to global warming. My friends at Scenic Hudson tell me 50 years from now, this part here will be probably underwater. So I don't know whether to believe that or not, but could have a short life.